Okay, now what we need to do is add some content to our page. It'll show up in the browser window, and for it to show up in the browser window, we need to do that between the body tag. So I'm going to click here in the body tag, and I'm going to go ahead and type some text. Now we're going to spend some time going back and forth between Notepad, where we'll see our code, and a web browser, so we can actually see what the page is going to look like once it's up on the web. So just to show you how that works, I'm going to go ahead and save this file. File, save. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the browser. And I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to open File. And go ahead and open up Index. And we'll see that page here in the browser. Notice that the URL is pointing to file C:, etc., which means that it is showing up on our hard drive. So this isn't up on the web yet. And it shows the text that we have. It'll show it in the default size and the default font face. So I'm going to switch back to Notepad, and I want to show you a little bit about white space before we get started on our headings. If I'm here in Notepad, and I hit the Enter key a couple of times, type some more text, maybe hold the space bar down a little bit, and type some even more text. What I want to do is show you that the white space that you put into Notepad actually will not be interpreted by the browser. We actually have tags that put white space in, and I'll show those to you in a little bit. But for now, I just want to show you how that works. So I'm going to save that one also. Go back to the browser, and I'm going to reload the page. So notice, as expected, the white space that I added between the first and second sentence isn't there, and the space bar that I used to put in more text between the last two sentences isn't there either. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some headings. The reason I showed you that white space information is because the heading tag actually has a little bit of white space built into it. The heading tag is a range from H1 to H6, and this determines the size of the font, with H1 being the largest and H6 being very small. Not used very often, most of the time used for disclaimers and legal stuff at the bottom of pages that nobody's really going to read anyway. So the way we're going to start out, and we're going to add a tag in front of this is some text, and we're going to make this an H1. So we go ahead and put our tag in, and that's a sign to the browser, hey, start making this H1. So everything from here on out is going to be in a bigger font size, and when I hit the closing tag, I'll go ahead and automatically double space after this. So at this point, if we were to look at it in the browser, this is some text, some more text, and even more text would all be in the H1 style because I haven't added the closing tag. When you want the browser to stop doing H1, you're going to go ahead and click where you want it to end and put in the closing tag. A lot of tags in HTML have opening and closing tags. There will be a few from time to time that we use quite often that won't have the closing tag on it, but in this case we're going to go ahead and use the closing tag. So I'm going to save this, switch back to the browser, and again hit the reload button to see the latest version of the page, and you can see the effect of the H1 tag. It's now in a larger font, and it has put the following text on the next line. So just to show you how some of the other headings work, I'm going to click back to Notepad, and in front of some more text, I'm going to go ahead and make this an H3. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to maybe make this one an H6 to show you how small it actually is. Now, a question I get a lot of times is, do I need those closing tags? Really, the browser has let us become lazy when we do our HTML. And so what really would happen if I left this H1 off, when it hits the next H tag, it actually would change over to that H3 and apply that to some more text here. However, I'll be grading these things and I will be looking for those closing tags, so I highly suggest you get in the habit of including them. Later on, we will encounter some tags that you absolutely have to include the closing tag, or your page will be messed up. So I'm going to save that, head over to the browser one last time, and hit the reload button, and you can see the difference in those H headings, those heading styles. So that ends this demonstration. In the next demonstration, we're going to talk about putting things into lists. We're going to have bulleted lists and we're going to have numbered lists.